I don't think you did. No?
Well, I missed my insurance payment, so they basically understand it. Right? I didn't realise it would work exactly like this, but basically it's connected to my delivery account. So they notice after a few days they send a message saying, "Please, valid insurance details. We're going to have to put your account on hold." And it takes them probably about another week, and then they'll send you one saying your account's going to be put on hold on this date. And I stretched it out, but what I didn't realise was basically the system put me back down as like applying to be a new rider. So I had to upload my CBT as well, and I didn't realise that I thought I was able to ride. I thought CBT was advisory. I thought I was able to ride up to a 125 on a provisional. It turns out it's only up to 50. So I had to rebook my CBT, which it wouldn't have come up if I hadn't missed that insurance payment kind of thing, or if I just just upload it straight away. Yeah. So it was another 3 weeks. It was 3 weeks I had to go until the CBT. So for 2 weeks I only had Uber, which is a lot less orders. And then by that point, that's like a whole month. It's almost, by the time that all subsided and I had my account back, it was rent time again. And then because of some malfunction in the system, about 4 or 5 days later, my account just froze and it locked me out. And I had to get hold of it. This is literally over Christmas as well. I remember like Boxing Day, I messaged them saying I've been knocked out. Like, I really want to work. What's going on? And I thought, I was thinking, fuck, have I done something wrong that they just terminated my account? Because if you take too long to get to the customer too many times, they'll send you an email saying, you've done this. This is in breach. Or just a reminder that you can't do this. We'll terminate you. And they do that to people. Takes quite a bit, but they will eventually, obviously, just because they have to have a system. But I was thinking, oh fuck, like, what's really over. But then 5 days later, after everyone come back to holidays and Christmas, I managed to get it sorted. But just by that point, it was kind of like, well, I've got to start saving for the rent again now.
Yeah.
I kind of missed those other 3 weeks in the month where I was 2 weeks late paying my rent as well, which you just can't be with agents. It was just lucky for me that it was over the Christmas period, and I was sort of able to go, oh, sorry, I can't get to, the banks are closed, the fucking processing, etc., etc., and they were away, and the fact the agents were out of office as well over the Christmas period, I checked their out of office email and stuff. I was this close to asking you or Damien, to be honest, to borrow 150 quid. I was like that. I was like, I don't like asking for money, especially not to. Damien's always my first, but I'd already borrowed 50 quid of him.
Yeah.
But that's how close I was. I was just like, fuck.
It happens, man.
In the end, I found a way. And now I just need, like, I do need to upload my insurance details again now, though, because I've fallen behind a bit again. But this time it's not the CBT that's the problem, like, I was just lucky, to be honest, 'cause when I first got my CBT, I had to wait like 8 weeks. So I was just kind of lucky but that was like, pandemic sort of times when everyone was getting qualified. But I was kind of lucky it was only 3 weeks I had to wait. But I had big chunks when I couldn't work for the through. And it just set me back loads, or completely stalled everything. And I still haven't done much, anywhere near as much as I could have had it all clear by now. But again, it's my own fault, really. It's how I got to look at it. Well, if I'd have got on top of my shit in September and October, I didn't start having problems till December. It started getting all icy. That was off all what I just described as well. That was off the back of it being icy for 2 weeks as well, where I couldn't really ride. So I had a big chunk, like end of December till probably end of November to probably the end of December. Just out of the game, probably even more like 5 weeks, maybe 6. Really hard to. But if I'd have got it sorted in September and October, I wouldn't be in this position. When I had my insurance and everything, and when I had my CVT valid, and when I had when it was decent enough weather still, there was no snow, it wasn't too cold, it wasn't like torrential rains and stuff. I should have taken advantage of it. It's my own stupid fault, basically. I'm sure I learned.
Am I going?
Is there a Jewish Jedi?
No, But there is a Jewish merchant, of course. Remember, if you can remember the Phantom Menace, there was a Jewish character with like, he sold stuff, but he was really tight with his cash. He had a big nose, big sort of hook nose, and they pretty sure had a Jewish name as well. It's a Jewish sounding name. And obviously it was controversial. That character, right? I can't remember his name. Right? You can hear him talking about? He was like a trader guy, and he was like always rubbing his hands, and had a big nose, and he had wings. He was like, flying.
Yeah.
And it was like, I didn't realise I was younger. I was just a guy, just like tight ass guy.
Oh wait, the original Star Wars. Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
No, I'm talking the Phantom Menace, like 1999.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The one that owned.
Yeah, he owns some sort of stock. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He was totally fucking Jewish.
Tabula or something like that.
And I don't know if this is true, but apparently it was a joke at Steven Spielberg by George Lucas. They're like pals, but I think it was don't know if it's a joke or a dare. Oh, fucking hell. It's a bit fucking obvious, like brazen.
I've googled it, and the first it comes up as
Watto was his name?
Jewish Jedi.
Is it
Sabula,
Watto?
I think.
Was it, sorry?
Sabula.
Sabula. Oh, there you go. Sabula sounds pretty Jewish, that. Yeah, it's totally mental, it. Total Jew guy.
Sebulba.
Sebulba. Amazing. How do I get down here?
Oh no, sorry, I got it wrong. He's the one. He was the pod racer.
Watto, I'm sure it was Watto.
Yeah, he was a pod racer.
Yeah. What was it? He owned Anakin. Is that what was the?
No, I'm getting them confused. But the one we're thinking of is the one that owned Anakin. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I'm fucking back. Oh shit! What's this? I'm fucking lost in this game, right? Where the hell is one?
Watto, yeah, there you go.
Watto, yeah, he was like a wee fly guy, and he's always rubbing his hands.
Yeah, very Jewish.
Yeah, Watto. Twatto.
Oh, I heard the other day something else quite interesting. You know Dave Courtney?
The gangster guy, yeah.
Yeah, he's technically not. That was kind of what's interesting about him. But, yeah, he's perceived as one. He's in that world. He's a villain in some people's eyes, but like, well, he's part of the firm. But he actually just ran a. He was naughty, but like he basically ran all the doors in Essex and London, and he had a security firm that provided, and all over the country, in fact. But like it basically provided security for everywhere. A lot of 1,000 people working for him. So indirectly, he was like, he even said it in his podcast I was watching the other day. It was to him for 2 hours. It's really interesting. And even he was like, I was basically like the job centre for the villainous underworld, like in the 80s and 90s in Essex and all over the country. So like, I had people that were indebted to me, So.
My big sister got food poisoning, and you won't guess where she got it from, and she got photo evidence. McDonald's.
I think I found evidence of that.
Fucking sue them, like, because they'll pay right away, surely. Not like any fucking.
They're extremely tight with all their fucking procedures, though. Like, not to be a killjoy, but the way it will work is. What's the evidence, first of all?
Just took photos of the chicken breast burger, but it's pink in the middle. She's like opened it up. This was last night, and she's ill now.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty good, to be honest.
She's got the receipt or still, I'm not sure.
I mean, they're all franchises, so they all do get they all get internal inspections of all the works. Like, it's extremely they're renowned for how good they are in their hygiene standards and their food safety standards. But that's the company's procedures. That that there's going to be ones that are not operated quite as well. But what'll happen is basically they'll go and inspect them, and if they can't
Can't get through.
find anything, or like that they're missing. They might do an on-the-spot inspection. That's the end of it. But there might be the case that they'll go, if they find something that's out of line, you know, if they, for example, go in there and the date labels on the chicken breasts are like, for example, if you what you do, if you've got little chicken breasts on a Monday, you put Monday day dot on them, or like Wednesday day dot, because that's 2 days later, that'll be like their procedure. But they're still actually good until Thursday, Friday. So the manager might keep them and sell them, and they might get caught out or something like that. But I don't know. Ashley's got the photograph of the
yeah, I don't know if she's got the receipt. I just want to pay with a card. And it's, like, the burger is inside. It's like not good. Nice, fucking nailed him, like. Nice one. Totally, he's like, oh, I'm dead. Fucking get rid of me, pile of bodies. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. I had food poisoning really fucking bad one time. It was actually when I was living with Dave and Mark. Dave made a chow mein for us all. It was really nice. And he left his leftovers in the microwave for about a week. And I fucking found it. And I was like, oh wow, chow mein. And I put it in the microwave for about a minute and a half because I didn't want it to be too hot while I was eating it. And I was violently ill. Like immediately ill, and I had to take like a day off work and that. But it was proper horrible. I was like sick of constantly being sick and that, and I was like heaving. Brutal.
Yeah, it can just be really fucking horrible.
Is it always guaranteed to get ill if you eat raw chicken, or could you wing it? Could you maybe have a bit of raw and then not get ill?
Yeah.
It's not like you might immediately get ill.
No, like you're more likely to get ill off of out of dates if I remember doing it once. Well, I actually had it when I did a burger place once. I had chicken, but it was 2 times. The second time wasn't really that fair, but it just goes to show there was a bit of pink in it and nothing happened to them. But like, you know the bloodline in chicken?
No, I don't, sorry. Bloodline.
Well, it's got, sometimes when you see chicken, it's got like a pink line running through it.
Right.
That's a vein. That's the blood of the chicken.
Yeah.
Like, you can cook it out. You can cook it to the point where it doesn't have that. But it's also why a lot of chicken's breaded and stuff like that. You know, not just the texture, to kind of cover it up. To cover up those imperfections anyway. I had that happen once, and the person sent it back to the kitchen, and they were cool about that. They were just like, "Oh, I've just off put about a bite now, really." Like, I'm trying to have a chip. It was just easy. It's just better to give them a beef burger and shut the fuck up, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's just say, "Oh, can I take this for a beef burger?" And I was like, apparently the actual person eating it wasn't even bothered. It was like one of their friends, so. But the first time I did it was fair. It was like so I butterflied the chicken, and
is that like slit it in half and
from the side, yeah. So it ends up being like a butterfly.
Grilling it, yeah.
Yes, the cut.
Flat down.
Nose and shit. And the bit that sort of points out at the bottom, just like was twisted and protruded up. So when I grilled it, I was quite inexperienced. So when I grilled it, I didn't get everything. So the whole thing was cooked properly, but there was a little bit that was sticking off the fucking grill that was completely raw still. And the person ate a couple of bites and then was just like, what's this? And again, they were really cool. You know, and they just clearly didn't eat the bit that was raw. Because they just said, we gave them their money back, but then they just said, oh no, they exchanged numbers with the pub. And they called the next day and was like, how do you feel? Are you okay? And they were like, yeah, no, don't worry about it, we're fine. You know, like, there's no illness here, kind of thing. But yeah, it's a bit of a shit lesson to learn that way. From then on, I basically cut the chicken into strips and just did it like that, so that it was all, you know. And I found a different technique, basically.
Here's one for you. Me and Laura went to a buffet a few months ago, in a Chinese buffet, and I paid with cash. But the woman, the teller, she sort of paused when she came and changed, and she was like, Did you give me, I think it was 50 quid or 40 quid? And I was like, I can't remember, to be honest. I was like, I'm not sure. And she was like, tell you what, I'll take your phone number and I'll count the till, and I'll call you if it's due your money. I was like, alright, okay. But she didn't call me. And I was like, how would she even... Because I just obviously put my faith in her that she wasn't lying. Because she couldn't be lying. But I'm pretty sure I gave her 40 quid. And... yeah, I mean, I don't remember having 50 quid and having 40 quid. But anyway, so am I just putting my faith that she's not lying? She couldn't be lying. Where the fuck am I going?
Yeah, it's just they might get something. They might just go, fuck, shut her up, or like keep her quiet rather than that.
Yeah.
You know? She's just after a payout. It's cool, like deservedly so from the sounds of things. So that's the thing. She'll want to go to the doctors probably, so as well just to get an active verification.
Yeah.
Otherwise, otherwise
you would have to test, obviously, like vomit and stuff. I'd imagine to get.
I don't know.
How do you prove food poisoning? I don't know how you prove it.
Well, you could go to the doctor. Yeah, actually, you go to the doctor and just say, and they'll give you. They'll just. In some of they diagnose you with other things. They'll just minor diagnostics.
Yeah.
And then go, alright, you got this. She just from McDonald's lawyer's point of view, they might just go, this person wants £2,000-3,000 and they've gone and bought an Iceland burger, undercooked it themselves,
yeah.
gone and bought a McDonald's chicken burger, taken their bun out, taken their, patty out, and put their own one in there. Like that's the sort of shit they do.
I think it was inside the restaurant as well. She sat in it.
Oh right, yeah, so she should be on camera.
It's not like she was got a takeaway. She was sitting in with my nieces. No,
sure, yeah, that's perfect. It does sound like she's got more of a case than many I've heard, really.
Yeah.
It's just notorious. Food poisoning, basically in general, is notoriously hard to prove. Yeah. It's more just trouble for the restaurant rather than like when I was. Like any time I've done a kitchen, it's always been the case. You get inspections every year or so, as a matter of practice. But if there's a specific complaint made about a specific place, the council do act on it, and they'll just come down and give you and be like, yeah, we've had this report. It's just, the person ate here, so we need to check your standards, your paperwork, and everything like that. You got to have it all up to date. McDonald's will have their paperwork up to scratch. Like, there's no fucking about that. Their managers are actually always really good. Like, they'll know what they're doing. Like,
yeah, one of my friends, I think he still does it. He's or was a McDonald's franchisee type store manager. They were so strict on their cleanliness and food and stuff.
Right there. I got it.
Everything was all done to the letter of the law. Where the fuck am I going? Totally confused on the thing now. To the letter of the law. Have you ever thought if Juventus have ever tried to sue Newcastle United over their stripes?
if I had to guess, I'd say Newcastle United were probably.
Yeah, hold on, imagine. I've actually got a Newcastle United pin on my board, and they were made in 1892. Juventus, imagine as old as that.
$1897.
Okay, well, really? 5 years.
They're all pretty old, aren't they?
5 years after.
Yeah, a lot of them were different names first as well. Man United used to be called Newton Heath.
Yeah, I remember that, right. Still to watch that documentary about the 98, 99 type young team, like Giggs and Nicky Button. That was a documentary about it. Cool.
2092.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I haven't watched
Yeah,
that
yeah,
yet.
it's good. It's annoying seeing Ryan Giggs. I'm just hurt by Ryan Giggs.
Aye. Me and his brother are good pals, like Rodri Giggs, my fucking best mate.
He's making the most of it. I actually respect Rodri Giggs because he's just like he
He
openly admits about his gambling and drugs addiction and stuff like that.
he's liked a few of my Instagram posts, and I'm like, look at this fucking Rodri, fucking best mate.
Does he follow you?
I thought it was you.
Oh, right, excellent.
I told you about that exchange.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
became best mates.
What did you say? Go talk through it again.
We've got a podcaster up here called James English. He's quite a controversial because he actually interviewed Tommy Robinson a few days ago, and that's like the local news that he's interviewed him. But, he interviewed Rodri Giggs like last year, the year before, and Rodri was talking about how not only was Ryan Giggs unfaithful, all the Man U players are pretty much unfaithful. Like obviously York's been known for being a bit of a shagger, and Andy Cole, maybe David Beckham. He was just saying it was kind of common knowledge that these people.
I reckon if anyone was sweet, it was Neville and Scholes.
Yeah, I mean they're probably pretty normal, but I think it was pretty common knowledge that these people, when they were in Spain, that they were shagging. And he was telling a story about something like how he went to a pub and they closed the door, like the players, I don't know who it was, and then James English, the podcaster, changed the subject and he talked about something else. And I was like, well, I was really fascinated in that story. So I commented on Instagram under James English podcast. I was like, can anyone tell me how this ended, this thing ended? And then Roger sent me a text with how it ended. And I was like,
They beat him up, didn't they?
Aye, they beat him up, aye.
Yeah, because I've told that story to people now. I remember,
Yeah.
In the context of that you told me.
Aye, yeah, beat him up. And I was like, oh, hello. And he was talking about golf. Because he went to St Andrews. But you actually have to book the course. St Andrews has got the first golf course in the world.
I didn't know that, but I know it's got a famous golf course.
He was talking about that. And then he followed me. And then me and him were best mates. Yeah, it was just that. Yeah, I just asked how it ended, and he jumped in. And I was like, yeah, I'm pals with Ryan Giggs' wee brother. Yeah.
I see him on something recently. I don't know what podcast. It might have been like Rio Ferdinand potentially. I don't think it was any of the United players that Giggs he played with. Thinking about it, but it was somebody, and he was like, and it was just before the trial that he's now going through. And he was like, going, yeah, trust me, he's got something big coming up. He's going to need all the support he can get. And he would have had that with me unconditionally, but he ain't now. It was like sad. And obviously living in his brother's shadow, probably. I was like, fucking bitch of a wife for 8 years. You can understand a mistake, like, to an extent. Even though still your husband's brother's fucking scummy. But regardless. If you're going to cheat, just go abroad and do it, frankly.
Rodri said that they were actually sleeping together when she was like heavily pregnant with his child. That's pretty fucking grim, Ryan.
Did he know the whole time?
No, he didn't know until somebody told him, and then he asked her and she confessed it.
Thing is, he's Ryan Giggs is he's fallen from grace so much now. You can see him just not featuring in documentaries anymore about certain things, and United are keeping him out of the way. You see, apparently he's in the executive box sometimes, watching and stuff like that. But whereas before he'd probably be having a chat with people and being seen on cameras. But he's also like he's had to basically come out and say that he's cheated on every woman he's ever been with. He's got a new girlfriend. That's the thing. So what's she thinking?
He was arrested a few years last year, maybe, for violence. Yeah.
Giggs.
Domestic violence, yeah.
Well, yeah, this is the thing. So she's accused him of domestic violence, and in court it's been ordered a retrial because It's not conclusive. And so his story is that yes, they're having a heated argument, and you know there was a clash of heads. Her story is he just squared up to her, like not touching her, and suddenly headbutted her, and they can't establish what the truth is. But one of the things that he's got a female lawyer doing the cross-examination, which was smart of him. But one of the things they're saying is like it's also the coercive and controlling behaviour, but that's a severe thing, you know. Like when you get done for coercive and controlling behaviour, I'm pretty sure it's got to be extremely coercive and extremely controlling. It can't just be like a dominant one in a relationship. And basically, what the judges were sort of saying was like, well, definitely said in fact, was that this is the court of the law, not the court of morals. So whatever you may have done some stuff wrong here, but we're to establish whether we're doing illegal. And that is important to remember when it comes to court cases in general, I think. But yeah, that's what Roderick was talking about. He has this coming up, but he's had to openly admit he's got all his fucking. He's not respected anymore. Like he is. I mean, he'll always have his. He's always going to be Man United's all-time top appearance maker. I'm pretty sure. I don't see anyone topping that because Bobby Charlton had it for 50 years and he got to 750. Scholes's third with 711. Giggs, Gary Neville actually only got to 602 and he's fourth. So Ryan Giggs is. This is ridiculous what he achieved. He was such an icon. He was my hero growing up. One of them. I played left wing. I wasn't left footed.
When I went to I can see the pictures. I went to Old Trafford, and you go into the canteen, and they've got like chairs to sit on, and in the back of the chairs is name and the number of players. I picked Ryan's chair, like Ryan Giggs' name number to sit on. Still loved him. I still love him as a footballer. He is a cunt, but I didn't fucking hate him. I just think you're a fucking idiot. And I didn't think I'll never watch Ryan Giggs' best moments ever again.
No, I can still watch that 99 goal in the semi-final of the cup and stuff. I don't think that about anything. Really. I can't watch it.
Do you ken what Eric Cantona's favourite moment is in a football game ever?
Right.
It's actually a pass. It's not a goal. It was a pass he made to Dennis Irvin. It's actually looking for Eric. The guy asks him, "What's your favourite moment in football?" Oh, it has to be this goal and this goal and this goal. But no, it was actually a pass. It was an amazing pass. It was like he was about to take a shot, but he used the side of his heel to kick the ball to the right and pass it to Irvin and score.
Yeah, he was a genius. That ball. That goal where he fucking just chipped it and it just floated still into how hard it is to get a chip into the top corner because it's come from such a high angle.
One of my favourite.
Turned around just like.
Yeah, that's out. One of my favourite moments is when he's like looking at the crowd in total shock. It can't be they went in. And type. So,
but also that last World Cup final we just had, that has provided some of the best moments in football like, in my lifetime, frankly. It was that good. The whole concept of fucking France coming back, but taking extra time, then thinking that Messi scored the winning goal, then Mbappe getting a hat trick of all things.
Yeah.
Then it going to penalties, and Emi Martinez, and that fucking last minute save by Emi Martinez, literally the 120th minute, it's injury time in extra time. And it drops to that France player and he fucking bangs it brilliantly. And Martinez gets a leg out. That is just the stuff of dreams are made of. If you're a goalkeeper, you dream of that moment. You know? Emi Martinez has had literally the dream tournament. Like if you were to paint your own tournament as a goalkeeper, you'd be like, he saved 2 penalties in the shootout against Holland to get him through there, and then that last minute save in the finals, and then the penalty save in the final. He was he's such a shithouse as well. I saw something of him today because it was yesterday that Villa played, and one of his team had scored a free kick. He basically had it on the edge of the box, And Martinez came right out of goal to the halfway line, got in line with the goal. It just started like waving at everyone and sort of like getting their attention and like pointing in different, towards it. Basically, put the other goalkeeper and made them change their wall and stuff. It was almost like it was something they talked about on the training ground. And then a different free kick taker come along and took it once they rearranged, but he got them to rearrange the wall. It's like, it was fucking genius. I've never seen it. I've never seen anyone do that. He's such a shithouse. I really want Man United to sign him because De Gea's, getting to the end of his time. Probably.
Reverse psychology type thing.
Oh, he's class. You'd hate to play against him, but you couldn't hold it against him if you were decent. He in the shootout as well. I think I might mention this. He like. He made Tuchemeni, who missed one of the penalties. He put him off by like sort of chucking a ball somewhere, so it made him have to have a little bit more time to walk around and think about it. And he was shouting stuff as well at the same time, getting his head. And as soon as he missed, because it went just wide, Martinez runs over to the ball, grabs it so that not even the referee, or especially not the France player, could give the next Argentina player the ball for their thing. So just literally walked over to him as he's walking up, puts it in his hands, so there's no interference. He's got the ball. He just, every tiny little thing that you wouldn't even imagine to be important, he did. Like, he invented a lot of stuff in that tournament. But it looks like it from a public perspective, but yeah, on a high profile like that. And just seeing him getting the golden glove by all these fucking Saudi princes and sheiks and stuff like that, and then just puts it where his penis is. Oh, really? It's one of them moments where you're just really happy for someone. And Messi, lovely to see.
Yeah, especially with his age as well.
Yeah, so Ronaldo's strategy's really backfired on him. I think he's just looking a bit pathetic now.
Well, big sister's going to have to wait Monday to see a GP about it.
Well, it might be gone by then, but
they're totally going to be fucking thinking they've fucking planned this. Like, I mean, what if it was a fucking child? And they ate it and got ill. And she's lucky. Yeah, it's no worse.
yeah. Well, what I was saying before about like the thing is, she it might just be the case that she gets a random inspection put on them, like in the next couple of days. They just do it on the spot, because she might not have enough. It's just not only because it's notoriously that hard. You got to find like a mouth in it or something.
Yeah.
But it's good that it weren't delivery as well.
Nice.
Come here, BD1. Hey there, BD1.
Why local McDonald's is the same 3 or 4 old men that are just in there. Whenever I get in there, if I get in there at 5 AM, they're there. Or like, I think I've seen a couple of them shuffling in there at like 6 before maybe, but it's really sad, man, because that's just their day and you can see it. I mean, it's probably better for them than being down the pub all day.
I mean, I rarely go to a pub, rarely these days, about probably twice a year. And I went to a pub for a works night out as my mate was leaving to a new job, and I was in, we put a Weatherspoons, and I kid you not, the same guys were in there when I was about fucking 16. I was like, oh man, is this going to be my life one day? Going to Weatherspoons for about 3 pints a day, just like sitting there all day. Yeah.
Well, that's it, it's just sad, isn't it?
That was like almost 20 years ago. It was 20 years ago. I used to go in when I was 16. Yeah. Same people.
Yeah, it's really sad. A pub's a bit more like, there's a couple of them pubs around here, like Weatherspoons. I used to shag a girl that used to work at one of the Weatherspoons. She was like, there's this one guy that just like 31 minutes past 7, and they open at 7:30. He's just like banging on the window, tapping his watch, and he's apparently he was horrible. Apparently, she said you could like all day, just all the few tables that were next to his table, like surrounding it, were just always dirty. No one wanted to go near him. He was just a stuffy. She didn't. I can't remember specifics, but like, she said he was just Just horrible, like probably in his head trying to do a joke and make conversation. Just horrible. But at least the pub's a bit more sociable. But McDonald's, man, they're all sitting on different tables. I think they say hello to each other. And you see them chatting to the manager out front having a bag sometimes, and they're all known there. And it's always like the junkies in there as well. It's quite often junkies in that they're in that part of town anyway, and it's just like, I think it's just a case of you don't want to smoke for going to war. Like, if you make it their fucking mission to cause you trouble, they will. They got nothing to do.
I wonder why I do it, because I don't know about you, your local McDonald's, but it's heavy still a wee annoying teenagers just sitting down and fucking on their phones loud as fuck. I mean, when I go to McDonald's, I probably won't go in. It's just so fucking noisy.
The mall is like that, yeah. We've got 4 in the city centre, but one's down Marina. Oh, and 5 actually. One's up Hollingbury, so it's in the retail park. Yeah. But there's a 6 one. There's 2 in Shoreham, in fact. So there's 7 in Greater Brighton. I think 1 in Peacehaven. I don't know much. No, I think it's New Haven. Yeah, New Haven. We've got 5 in the city. Hollingbury doesn't really, but yeah, Chester Square on the mall, it does, and then Western Road that does, right by the mall. The London Road one has college kids in there, quite a lot of them. But the thing is, not first thing in the morning. I don't think these blokes are in there all day, but they're in there for the most, for the morning. Yeah. Have their breakfast and maybe even lunch probably, but then they just come with a paper or whatever. They're just hoping to have a conversation. I'll say hello to them if I make eye contact. Just want to chat, don't they?
Yeah. Lonely,
yeah.
If I got to get this done, I got to get
one of Gary V's things I've heard him say once was like, if you want motivation, go and volunteer in an old people's home and listen to their regrets. Oh, fuck off, Gary. But you know the point he's making.
Yeah.
It's like there's nothing more powerful than a 90-year-old man telling you what they wish they'd done. Tears in their eyes. I'm not doing that.
You know, like I used to go to a comedy club. I still do, called The Stand, and they have an amateur night called Red Raw, and I went a few times and done a couple of sort of shitty sets, but I was in a pub near it called on Leaf Walk. It's called. It's near where me and you went to Five Guys, and I was having a pint. I was talking to an older guy at the bar, probably about fucking 70, and he was like, "Oh, what you do?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a comedian." And he was like, "Oh, you must be pretty shit then." I was like, "Hey, how's that?" Because you paid for your pint and fucking change. I was like, "Alright, I suppose." Because I had like a big fucking handful, like 5p's and 10p's. And he's like, "Put me in my place." I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm a comedian." I'm like, "Fuck yeah." It's so funny, man. I was just like, "Yeah, Ken, what? You're fucking right, man."
Oh, and that is a running joke amongst comedians. I've read like early days stories by comedians, and they were chuffed that at the end of the gig they got a couple of drinks vouchers and
I was getting like a hotel and fucking food. I was like, I fucking made it. Oh fuck, man! I had to pay for like the fucking train here.
Yeah. I mean, fair bartending's rare that you get anything paid for as well. I did actually get a couple of sponsorships from my places of work. I didn't at various points, but and at Roadhouse you don't have to pay when you to enter their competition. But one of those, it's a bit weird, like because people don't quite get it that I've represented my country on an international tournament, like World Championships. And I mean, and quite a lot of the international competitions that weren't World Championships.
Yeah.
But it's not playing for it. It's not Peter Crouch, is it? It's not the wages. Because I think no matter what it is, you know, if you've represented your country in Cluedo or Monopoly or chess or like knitting, it's still something, isn't it?
Oh, aye, it's impressive, right?
Especially if you got that far, but obviously it doesn't.
Like,
People don't believe that a delivery rider's got that much knowledge in one specific field. Why is he delivery riding? But that says it about bartending, though. You
like
know, there's ways to make money, but typically,
like my pal Eric's in the Olympics, and I'm like, that's fucking amazing, man. Is that not the most fascinating thing you've ever heard? And you don't even bring it up. I like, fucking tell everybody. As soon as you meet somebody, bring it up. That's the first thing you say.
Yeah.
Before you even say your name. See, I was in the Olympics.
There's a guy around here that's mates with those gay fellas that I did that night with their DJ, and he's called Michael, and he was. I've been around his house a couple of times. He's like got a big grey beard. I don't know how old he is. I think he's like in his 60s, early 60s. But he was in a pop band, like proper, like successful pop band in like the 70s and 80s. He's got pictures on the walls, like glam rock sort of pop era. He's on the wall, and he's got his posters on the wall and everything. I actually met this girl that would like live with some of my bartender mates who I stayed with for a bit once. She was Australian, and she was, I think she like won Australia's Next Top Model. Like, she was actually famous back in Australia. But and she was stunning, and like for a split second, because she loved video games and everything, like, for a split second I was like, oh, I love you. And then she was fucking, she was actually proper like, she had psychosis, man. Like, she was thick, really. But she was at that stage where it's like hard to tell where she had psychosis, because she was a dickhead. But like, I remember her, for example, once she fucking. I was just staying on the sofa like for a couple of nights, and she proper kicked. She was just. I know it's you. I know you've done it. Like proper like getting twisted about it. It's just like you're hearing things. Like you just. It turns out it was Bruno's girlfriend. Like it was a fact. It was someone else. It wasn't even like the others were unsure whether or not I, you know, it wasn't a case of like.
I'm pretty hurt.
I could have, and the thing is, I was allowed to smoke in the living room. Like, other people were smoking where she was saying this, but there'd have been no reason for me to get up and have a fag. But she was fucking nuts, and like everyone has said that about her. She's like Marco, this guy described her. He's like, I've had some of the best nights out with her, but she's a fucking knob. Like as a person, you know, she's a right laugh, like a party animal. The last I saw of her before I deleted her on Facebook was she just posted like, so I'm jobless and homeless in Dubai, and obviously she tried to become a DJ after being a bartender, and what she's done is like fucked it up and pissed people off, and she doesn't go there to stay. She's the sort of girl though that she could just go into a bar and get late. She's fucking, you know, she'll find somewhere to stay. But
funny you say that. We did have a Jaguar running about the golf course in the 90s, and it was sort of like a myth for years.
we have loads of them.
Yeah, and it was like a myth. It was like the beast of Glenoffice. My mate's dad's actually a policeman, and he told me he's a very honest man, a very well-to-do man. He was like, yeah, it was me that was actually on the job when they called. There's no way that, and it was a big black cat, and we had he said that they had a zoo guy there, like a zoo man, and trying to capture it, but it just ran off into the woods. Because you could actually keep big cats till 1982, I believe.
That was it, yeah.
So people had them. People had jaguars, pumas, ocelots, all these animals. Yeah.
Yeah, it's well. So we've got the Sussex Downs and that. Obviously, we're quite near London, and places that are wealthy and that, and Sussex and Surrey are quite wealthy. Yeah, it was a myth growing up, but then it's since been established that it's actually true. And like I've read quite a bit about it. You know, you got these zoologists going like that. You know, sort of over. You know, they were outlining the plausibility of it, and they're like, well, they're wild animals, and they don't want to be near humans. Like in countries where they are near humans, they stay well away, and there's plenty of space. They don't breed that fast anyway. They don't live excessively long, you know, 15 years. So it's plausible that there's just a few families around the forests of Britain. And the thing is, whenever any humans do get close, they'll just want to fuck off. They're not interested. Like, if you were to corner one and try and attack it, I'm sure they're pretty fucking hard. Like, relative to... You know, you wouldn't want one of them trying to kill you, for example. Like that fucking... Oh, I read a bit more about that dog, the woman with the dogs, because I've been interested in that case. So it's come out that there was 2 witnesses at the time as well, like from who were on horseback, and they've said that multiple dogs were attacking her. And you have had like you've had like the park ranger and stuff come out going like I really don't know. People shouldn't be allowed to to have more. Even he said like we see people like 5, 6 dogs, like you just think they shouldn't be allowed to do that. You know, it's a rare accident. But obviously, this is the consequence when it does happen. She had 8. Apparently, she was screaming at them to run. She just like turned back as she was dying. Like, and the dog, 2 of the dogs went after the horse, one of the horses, and the horse bolted it, and eventually threw the rider off as well, who didn't get any serious injuries. But like, you know, they were like, that's another fucking, you know, the dog. Fortunately, the horse stopped eventually of his own accord. But like, they're very dangerous animals, horses, when they run at you or at anyone, anything, just because they're so fucking heavy, powerful. They're flight animals, as they described it. They just run.
Yeah.
I can see this being the sort of thing when they bring a law in now, to be honest. Because that's probably just quite a poor person who's thinking, right, the more dogs I can walk at once, the more money I make per hour. I wouldn't fancy fucking walking 8 dogs.
Yeah, when I cycle to work, there's a woman who has greyhounds, probably about 8 greyhounds. I'm like, if they fucking take off, you're fucked, mate. You'll be fucking pulling me like.
But again, the difference for her would be that if they're her dogs, she knows them really well.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably...
That would be a difference.
I mean, dogs are, those dogs are obviously, well tempered compared to like, I mean, this has been general obviously compared to like pit bulls and that. That's just a factor. They are. And yeah, if one of them sees a rabbit and fucking runs off, she's fucked her because she's quite wee. And they're all tied to her waist like a belt thing. Yeah. It's mental.
Yeah, I'm interested to find out what the breeds of these dogs were.
Let's place a bet. What do you think it will be? The dogs.
It's not a staff. Staffs are really fucking friendly and like cuddly and cowardly.
Yeah,
They just look
Laura's mum had
Brawler
a
droid processing unit.
mongrel
You thinking
staffy.
what I'm thinking?
Really nice.
Mike had one when we were like 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, etc. At Boise. And he was just the friendliest, soppiest bastard.
Yeah.
I reckon it's not going to be such a big or dangerous dog that you'd be wary of it. I reckon that's what's got her to an extent as well. She's not expecting whatever breed she's got to behave like that. But do you know what? I don't know nothing about dogs. But it might even come down to something as well, like the combination of breeds she had has riled them up somehow.
Yeah.
Because why are they all attacking her? If they're not, like, you'd think you could see 1 or 2, like, just flipping and going for her. But if a lot of them start attacking her, or did some of the dogs rile each other up, and then they all ended up when she was trying to break them up, there was no witnesses to the actual attack. Just the fact that they just saw her dying on the floor. But they couldn't do nothing because of the horses. Well, another woman got bit actually, trying to sort of, I don't know at what point, but she's obviously gone over to do something, and maybe even catch one of the dogs that was running. Because apparently they all sort of ran away when the horses came as well. After the 2 of them went for the horses, I think something started them. Something made them all disperse into the woods, basically, in different directions. But obviously, you can't ask the dog, can you? Which one of you can't?
Snitches. Get snitches.
Well,
bitches and snitches.
I mean, fucking hell, it's just horrible for her.
It's
Like,
horrible, man. It's like, you know
she's
what's
obviously
horrible?
thinking, I like dogs, you know, I'll do this for a living. That's I hope she was thinking. I hope she wasn't just someone trying to make a buck, you know, or just hope society hadn't made her that fucking poor that she just thought, well, I need an extra 50 quid a week.
Yeah.
You know, probably only a 2-hour, 3-hour job a day, isn't it? And then, you know, she's like, yeah, I need a couple hundred quid extra a week.
Do you care what's horrific, right? It shows you how pets don't give a fuck about you. If you fucking die and your cat is locked in with you, it'll eat you, it'll eat your face. It doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, what? He's fucking dead. I'm hungry. Fuck him. And then it's like, if me and you were to die, if I was in a room with you and you were to die, I wouldn't be quick to eat you. I wouldn't go, right, this is my last fucking hope. I'll probably starve to death. I mean, obviously, you can't psychologically say that, right, because you might, obviously, you would think, right, survival time, but cats apparently just go right away, start eating you. If you've got, like, I've got cats, and if I've not fed them by 7 o'clock, they're fucking howling, They're totally screaming to me feed them. Can you wait? Like, can you fucking wait? Like, It's like, yeah, just don't get a fuck, yeah. Stop skipping. Shit. No hesitation, right? Fucking no juice. Cats are just like, no fucking conscience, they're just like, right, just fucking eat him, he's fucking dead. Yeah, I mean, that woman, man, if it was a wee dog, what if it was attacking them for a while? Like, did they say how the woman died, like, the attack? Did you? Like, have you said how the woman died? Like, the attack that the woman died?
The injuries.
Like, aye, but was it like one chomp to the jugular, or was it like a saw, like a whole slow gnawing?
A witness statement was that they sort of, you know, approached her and saw that she was on the floor being attacked by multiple dogs, and she screamed at them to turn back. She'd already, like, if it was going, that's harrowing, isn't it? Like, turn back.
It's proper casual. It's like she knows that it's dangerous. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's like, and maybe partly because of the horses as well. But like, what would you do if you were, if you on your own are walking along and 8 dogs are attacking one woman?
Yeah, and she's telling you to go away. It's like, what? I'm trying to save you. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what you would do. You have to watch it probably.
Well, if there's, for example, if there was 2 dogs, I'm probably going to try and help the woman.
Yeah.
Because to an extent as well, they probably, they probably got her in the wrong spots already. Like, if you've got one dog biting into your arm or ankle, it fucking hurts. You know, I knew someone that had like a year's reconstructive surgery on his ankle because the ligament. He had Ian Jordan 8-minute Rottweiler attack, basically. That had its fucking jaw into him for 8 minutes. And he said when the whole fucking, or pit bull or something like that, but he's like, when that's got his fucking jaw into your tendons and your nerves, it's fucking unbelievable, the pain, like, and for that long. But yeah, like, the arm or the leg, you're not dying from it. So I can kind of only, they must have sustainably attacked her. Like, one's got, like, a couple have got the legs, and maybe then someone's got the neck eventually, or maybe she. Oh, they did try CPR, and then she was pronounced dead on the scene.
Yeah, it must have been blood loss or something.
Yeah,
I was thinking
savage,
maybe she got a neck, maybe she fell and neck broke.
No, it wasn't like a freak occurrence like that. She's been normal. But equally, they didn't just get her in the neck straight away from the sounds of things, and then have her done quickly. It sounded like they all had most of the dogs were on her at one point. From the sounds, multiple dogs, as always said, which I can only assume. I'm picturing sort of like 4 and up, really, when you say multiple. Out of 8.
There was a woman in Fife. It's actually recently we heard about it. She was actually in the house and she slipped, and a Christmas decoration stabbed her in intestines, and then she got an infection. But a lot of people gave her money because she couldn't work in that. She was horrible. Like, how fucking. Like, she just slipped in a Christmas decoration and stabbed her intestines.
They use this place as a hideout in their battle against the Empire.
Horrible. I was like, Jesus Christ, anything could happen to her. You can fall and stabbed by a nutcracker. Give you a infection.
Yeah, Loopy, when Mike used to take, when he used to, eventually they used to take on the park, like, Loopy was the only one they couldn't take off the lead. Even when it got old, Loopy was older than, well, the story I told you before, about Loopy nearly killing the elder. At that time, Loopy was the youngest, and then, I guess he died. Oh no, I think Boise was, yeah, anyway, but yeah, by the time we ended up going out with the dog, she was an old dog, and, the other two were the youngest. Boise was a bit of an old man, but he just sort of plodded around so fucking. Boise, like, he used to just come upstairs and sit on my lap whenever I got there, and it was like it's like he knew that we were all going to get stoned, and that's where he wanted to be. He knew that me coming around or someone else coming around was the ganja time. So it's as if he just monging out and getting high, which he probably did to an extent. But like up the park, fuck me. Get him a stick, and he's a different dog. But Loopy, you just never take it off the lead. Dog. Still, you can't control. It wasn't so much that she was hyperactive or dangerous, but it's like if she wanted to do something, you couldn't tell her. It's like she's got history, you know. Like if Loopy had gone for a child, like you're not calling her that. Like the other two are quite well behaved. To the point where Boise was such a soft cunt, like, I've probably told you this story, but in case I haven't, so that, you know, Mike's now paranoid schizophrenic.
Yeah.
So there was a time when we were like 22, 23, we'd all left, and Mike's just upstairs in the loft, which is his bedroom, and then like Dean, his little brother, has just come up and gone, Mike, there's a man in the kitchen. He's like, what? He's like, there's a man standing there, like random stranger, just walked in the door. The dogs didn't do nothing because just someone else, you know how I said that we're all just allowed to open the door?
Just
for that reason?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Mike's gone downstairs as the man of the house and gone like, all right, mate, and he had like a long trench coat on and like a cowboy hat, he said. And he just like a really weird smile on his face. He just nodded, smiled, like, yeah. Can I help you? And he was like, I used to live here. He's like, okay, cool. Can you leave, please? And he went, yeah, cool. Yeah. Just went. But the dogs were just fucking happy to see him.
Idiot.
Well, the fucked up thing was, given what's happened to Michael now, because it turns out as well there was a helicopter out looking for him. There's a mental home near Mike's house. Obviously, given what Mike's gone through now, that's as if he was looking into the future.
Nice job.
I could fully see Mike now walking around Port Slade and walking into that house one day, and the new family that lived there going, "You alright, mate?" And he going, "Yeah, I used to live here."
Yeah. Thinking it was all right.
Oh, just because of the state he's in, not because he's. But like, it's harrowing. Or chill him, and
yeah.
I told Sam that he was just like, "Give me goosebumps." Like, it's fucking grim.
It is freaky out.
Because yeah, it's as if he was just looking into the future. Like, you know, one day he did become that bloke. You could fully see him just walking into someone else's house.
I remember it was at my mum's house when I was younger, and she was on holiday, just me in the house on my own. And I was sitting playing games like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I think I went to let the cat in or out, but I opened the front door and there was a guy in a high vis just standing the garden taking a piss. I just fucking shut the door. Oh my god, there's a guy in the garden. But